Okay, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am Sekou. I am your host for the Be Your Own Hero show. And yeah, that's it. I'm just waking up. I'm just waking up. I don't know what happened last night. I couldn't go sleep last night. I couldn't go sleep last night. And I kept waking up, tossing, turning, waking up, and start a movie. And man, I just couldn't get it together. So no, I did not do my run. I did not do anything. And just now I'm feeling some reserves of chemical energy as I do this show. I don't know what that is, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Okay. So let me start again. Welcome to the Be Your Own Hero show. I'm your host. I'm your guest. No, I'm your host. I'm your host. I'm your host, Sacred Rights. And let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. So all the people that come late can catch it later. Let's talk about money because I've got a few things to talk about. A few things to talk about. So let's do our affirmation. Let's get started with that. Okay. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. I say, gotta say it with me. Gotta say it with me. I'm so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. Ashe. Ashe. Okay, for those of you that don't know, I am doing this show despite my stroke, despite the fact that I've had two strokes, and I'm not sure what that buzzing was. And I'm pushing past two, those two, huh, those two strokes. And I just remembered that yesterday, oh yeah, yesterday, I put out the I put out the sermon. I put up my first sermon yesterday. And so listen now, I I did a sermon. First of all, I did a sermon. For those of you that don't know, I did a sermon. In last part of November, I did a sermon. And I've been scared of it. And I finally watched it yesterday. And I posted it yesterday. And now I'm like, okay, it's not so bad. Right? Not so bad. So I posted it yesterday. I'm going to advertise it today and let people know that I did this, that I did my first sermon, and that I am being led in that direction, and that my, you know, I mean, November was a big month for me. I ran my second marathon, my second marathon since I've been sick. Since I have been sick, I ran two marathons. I give that the props it's due, right? And I got engaged to Fee King, the lovely Fee King. And for those of you who think that we just met a second ago, no, we've known each other for years. I think 2 decades. I think we've known each other a long time. And and third, third big to do for November, I preached my first sermon. I preached my first sermon. So those of you that heard me talk about this before just have to bear with me. I'm just enjoying the fact that I watched it yesterday, and I watched it and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I feel like, you know, my situation is a little bit different in terms of viewing it, but the people who saw it said it was good. So Ashe, I'm going to advertise it, and you guys can check it out. Even those of you that already saw it can check it out and see what's going on and see what I talked about. Okay, so that's the end of that. Let me get back to the money, the money. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about, well, the emergency fund. Yeah, well, let me talk about it both. So first of all, the emergency fund. So I can't believe that I forgot my own emergency fund. So my mom and I were working on something, paying for something last night, and she was like, "Well, what about your emergency fund?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And that's so strange because I just was just talking about it on this show. But my my space of where the money is, I don't know. Hmm, it's like in a bubble almost, in a bubble for real. Like I see the money, I talk about the money, but then I put it away in my mental space. And so for those of you who have gone as far as to try to create an emergency fund, this is what you have to do. You have to believe that you can pay yourself first. You have to believe and know that you need to pay yourself first. That's right off the bat, right? And then you can start paying yourself an emergency fund. And the best way to do it is that pay yourself automatically. Have something automatically come out of your money that you're earning and go automatically towards your emergency fund. Now, I want to want to explain how neither Fee King nor I thought about our our emergency funds. Like really, it's like we put them in a filter, in a bubble in our minds, and once it's just there. Because I say this because when we were on, I don't know, I'll say like maybe mile 14 of the marathon, I saw my mom was trying to reach me the the donations. And I was like, oh. And so that's something there too that I should get into, but I let me leave that alone for now. So I was trying to move money to, basically I needed $200. I need $200 the way I was thinking about it then. I did not need $200. It worked itself out. But at the time when I was thinking about it, I was thinking, oh, I need $200. I asked Fee King if she had $200. She was like, no, I don't have $200. And I'm thinking, no, I don't have $200. And yet, and yet, both of us, both of us forgot about our emergency fund. Like, yeah, I had $200 in my emergency fund. Yeah, she has $200 in her emergency fund. And we both forgot about it. We forgot about it. We put it under some, we put it, I'm sticking with the bubble. We put it in a bubble. And when the money came due, well, due, we didn't think of that as a applicable place to get the money. And that's important because, speaking for myself, like that used to be a place where I would go immediately. Immediately. I'd go there immediately. You know, when I first started funding my emergency fund, I would go out there immediately. I'm like, oh, I need the money. I need the money. I grabbed the metal, grab grab the money and pay for whatever it was. And so this was very interesting to me that, like last night, that my mom had to call my attention to my emergency fund, and my mind had completely divorced myself of it. Like see I don't see anything as emergencies anymore. And matter of fact, like the thing with the marathon, that me needing $200 completely took care of itself. I didn't even need them $200, right? So it's interesting though that I discovered yesterday that I put my money into Acorns. Acorns, and I'm sure you many of you have this app. So Acorns, it helps you put aside money, right? You can set it to automatically withdraw money from your account, and so that's what I have it on. I've had to adjust that down as I have had no income, but I still have it automatically, right? And what I discovered yesterday was that it takes it takes um well, wait a minute. Here we go. I think I have it. I think I have it. I think I have it. Um, I think I have it saved up for you. Do I have it? Yes, I do. All right. So share this tab instead and pull this up and pull this up and so you can see this. Okay, so this is what I ran across when I was looking at Acorns, right? Pause investments instead. But if the markets are down, withdrawing locks in your losses. So that's the first scary thing. Like, oh, wait a minute, I'm losing money. But this one, withdrawing money may take 3 to 6 business days to process. I was like, 3 to 6 business days. And then when I went to process it, it said that it was going to vibrate. It wasn't going to give me my money until the 12th. Until the 12th. So we were trying to do something that required our money then, like right now. So having the money come out till the 12th was like ridiculous, right? But anyway, and there may be there may be tax implications if you withdraw. And I didn't understand the last one about 500,000. So it was interesting though that to know that hmm, it's easier to put the money in than it is to take the money out. And so for from my understanding, well, from my understanding, I think what I'm trying to say is that it made the situation hmm, okay, wait. Hold on. Let me make myself bigger. Bigger, bigger, bigger. Um how do I I know how. I can just take this thing. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, so my emergency fund, first of all, it's inside a bubble in my head. It's off and away somewhere. And I don't use it for privy things or anything else. It's an emergency fund. An emergency fund. I don't know when I made that I passed that goal, but I passed it now, and P King has too. But we think of that money as emergency money, as emergency money. I don't know when, but it happened. And the next thing is that that hmm, wait a minute, wait a minute. I just had it. I just had it. Oh shoot. Well, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. So the the fact that we don't think of it as a means of getting there, and that's what I meant. That's why I was. That's where I was. And it takes 2 weeks. Like it takes 2 weeks to get the money out. It takes much more effort to get the money out than it does to put the money in. In like this, out. It's like, ooh, it takes a time. And so we figured out some other way to pay for what we're trying to pay for, but I didn't Mm, but I had to find a way other than getting the money out of my Acorns account. That's my point. I had to find another way of getting it outside of my Acorns account because that is important. Like that's important for me to know that it takes that time to pull itself out. And that means I gotta find other ways. I gotta find other ways to look at to help me in whatever situation I'm in. Because whatever it is, it's gonna take me more than like 2 weeks to resolve it. Right. So I've got to be more creative about where to get the money and how to get the money and what I need the money for and all those things because I have to think about where I'm going to get the money from, right? So I wanted to talk about that first. And now I want to talk about stocks. Now, stocks I was reviewing stocks with Fee King and and she well, how do I want to say this? She had a stop gap where she wanted to figure out what stocks she was selling in, right? Basically, she wanted to know which stocks she was in, right? And so basically, I asked her about where her stocks were set, where her stocks were, and I looked at them and I was like, okay, okay, this is what occurred to me. What occurred to me is everybody's stock portfolio is going to be different. I'm gonna say that again. Everyone's stock portfolio is going to be different. Everybody's stock portfolio is going to be different. So her stock portfolio is going to be different than mine. And now I'm understanding why this is so because each person has their own relationship with money, has their own do's and don'ts that they are doing with money. And so I had to look at it for a while. I had to look at it for a while and think about what would suit her, right? And so I advised her to cash out most of her stocks. So she had like 10 stocks on Robinhood, like 10 different stocks. And I told her to cash them out and then reinvest that money to just three. See, and the reason I did that is because it's important for you to understand. It's important because when you first discover stocks, and I remember this, I remember this, I remember this. When you first discover stocks, you're like, the world's for sale? The world's for sale? I can buy anything? And it was like, yeah, you can buy anything. I can buy this coffee shop. I can buy this store. I can buy this. You will have this period. Most of us will. We get excited about buying everything and anything, right? And you find out, your favorite show and all these things. You find all these different things. But what happens is once you have those stocks for a while, once you have them for a while, once you own them for a while, then you start to think, well, all right, but how's that stock doing? How's that stock doing? Right? And that's when you start looking at the numbers. And you notice that the numbers for the stock long term, long term, once you look at the long term, you start to notice that some stocks don't do so well, right? And you start to develop different energies. Like, okay, this 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 favorite TV show that I bought. So say it hurts you to sell that stock, but you're thinking about yourself now, your money, right? And so you've got to divorce yourself of those things that feel good to you. And this is the first part. This is the first part. Well, the second part of it. The first part is buying everything, right? Buying everything. The second part is learning to deal unemotionally with the stocks that you have, because you've got to be willing and able to say, "All right, show, I love your show, but I gotta let you go because you aren't producing." If I look at the the value of the chart, if I extrapolate that all the way out to max, we'll see that max is not doing well. Max is coming down. It's coming down. Whereas one of the mains, one of the main stocks we've talked about, like AT&T, like Verizon, like Coca-Cola, like these are main companies. These are really big companies that have been doing well over time. And even if they are doing badly in terms of their they're all the way they're all the way chart, they're pushing a chart pushing your chart all the way to the end. Even when you do that with these big companies, the big companies you hear about if something happens. Like if something happens with AT&T, you're going to hear about it. Like you're going to hear about it. AT&T is one of the hugest companies, right? And Starbucks and those companies, you're going to hear about them, right? So you've got a built-in barometer. People will tell you about what's happening with the company, but also it gives you different benefits, right? Like this company that does not do so well on the scale, they might be giving you a greater dividend. Now, dividend, like you have to catch one of our earlier shows for that, but basically some stocks, not all stocks, but some stocks will pay you for owning them. So you could be getting some nice money for this stock and just getting it in while you wait to see what's happening with the stock long term. So I'm using like AT&T for example. AT&T is a good example because AT&T is a very um, very attainable stock. It's like 16 bucks. 16 bucks, like 16 bucks. That's crazy. But anyway, 16 bucks per share. And with each share, you get more and more of a kickback for owning it. But your kickback operates on the number of shares you own. So if you can own $16 for a share and build that up, well, you're going to get the amount of, a five share owner versus a one share owner that much more quickly, right? Because you might find another stock that's that's the tracking. I can't think of what that is today, but the tracking is going higher, but then they don't have, but the amount that it'll cost you to buy a share, this might take you a year to buy a share, right? Well, you need to buy those shares individually quickly. All right. Okay. I hope I hope that gives some vibes about where I'm going this week. I'll talk more about that later. I didn't get the scratch pad, not scratch pad, the photos. I didn't get the photos yet. I had because I was late because I just barely woke up. So I will show those photos later on. Let me show you my my run report. My run report. Run report. Let me show you my run report, and then I want to get out of here. And here we go. Here we go. Got just enough time to do this. Well, here at church, Reverend Mel's church, here early, and I feel bad that the woman I usually get coffee from asked me if I'd done my run yet. No, I'm not. Now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do my run now or later. Let's find out. So the answer is no. The answer is no. I did not get out from church and try to run some before church started, which is what I was thinking about. But you never believe this. But even though I was thinking about that woman who sold me my coffee this morning, my experience yesterday ended up as a part of Rev Mel's sermon, where she encouraged me to run yesterday. And I was like, oh man, like a double whammy. Two people talking about me needing to run. And I was like, man. And the woman who checked me out, we've talked about running, of course, but she's never, ever, ever asked me, are you just coming in from running? And I was like, no, no, I'm not. So this is what I did. What I did is I walked up and down the train station. Now, I have to emphasize that I had to walk because I didn't feel like running, and it was cold and wet, rainy, and I couldn't do it. But I did walk. I did walk for a little bit. Then the train came, and I was like, let's get on train. But then the train let me off at the last place from which I ran while doing a test drive, but doing a travel, Monahan Station or something like that. And I know that that's the right distance. And I was like, okay, Sekou. Okay, let's do it. So I ran fully clothed, and ran up the street. And I made it. And I was just thinking about those people talking about me today and yesterday. And I was thinking about the fact that it was still snow, it was still raining, still wet, still nasty outside, but I ran anyway. Fully dressed, ran anyway. It ran anyway. And I did it. And that just shows you how much extra I needed today, but how little something small could make a big difference, you know? Ashe. So there we go. My Sunday of fun. All right, later. All right, I'm over time now, so I'm just gonna say I'll see you later. Oh, thanks for the fireworks. Thanks for the fireworks on Instagram. I appreciate that. And please rewind the video in case you want to learn about emergency funds. And I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Later.